Welcome to the Straight Red Car. Today we're just going to, Brett and I are going to take on the U.S. roster as it was announced through Klinsmann on Thursday. And going through the list here, Brett, I mean, this is pretty much just, there's some interesting things on it, like Timothy Chandler's still on the roster. See, he hasn't jumped ship quite yet. So no panicking yet. But really, in the end, to me, Brett, it just looks like, we've got a lot of the same guys you're used to. Bocanegra, Cherundolo, even Onyewu's back, Spector's back, Howard, of course. You've got Bradley, Clint Dempsey, Maurice Adu, Donovan, Altidore. So this lineup is going to look, a lot like a Bob Bradley lineup, I think, when we watch the games, because it's all about winning at this point. Mm-hmm. I think that Klinsmann knows he's got to come away with wins against both these teams in October. And that's why we're not seeing a lot of experimentation. No Discarud, no Gott. This is pretty standard here.
Well, I think referring to Discarud and Gott, I think he made it clear that he's aiming to bring them into the team closer towards the Olympics and try them there. This is pretty much going to be a similar lineup that you would see when Bob was running the team. The only difference is the tactics overall. Will he stick with his 4-2-3-1 or 4-1-4-1 at certain points of the game, or will he go back to the 4-4-2? Those are going to be the big questions. Is he going to stick with his system? Because his system's doing well as far as maintaining possession, but it hasn't been doing that well as far as creating chances.
Well,
and then we've really created chances underneath the system is when the teams tend to back off and give us space and time to move around, like we saw.
Well, you're missing one of the major pieces that Klinsmann used to maintain possession in that setup, and that's Jose Torres. And so I don't know. Yeah, you just don't know. Michael Bradley can certainly hold his own in that position as well.
Well, it's a different role. Torres is a different player than, say, Bradley. Bradley's distribution has vastly improved over the years, I thought. He's still not quite Torres. Torres is, like I said, a different player altogether. But I think he'll do well. I think he's going to get the start. He's been doing well with this team in Italy. They've been playing him more as a right mid, but I believe he ends up finding his way back into the center throughout the games anyhow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting. Similar setup. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, but just give me two strikers, please. That's all I'm asking.
I think we'll probably see Donovan playing more of the
reserve striker role,
mid/reserve striking.
Yeah, and then we've got Dempsey and Donovan playing for the first time with Klinsmann, so that should be a little bit of relief for him. But there's still a lot of people out there saying, I don't like these picks. Where's Charlie Davies? Charlie Davies? Has anybody been watching Charlie Davies play in the MLS this season? He started off quick, but he's really had a rough time of it. This has not been an easy comeback for him. And to think that, I'm not sure why he would get a call up over some of the guys that did. Certainly, DeMarcus Beasley has been playing pretty well in Mexico with Puebla. Teal Bunbury's had, I think, a pretty refreshing season for KC when he's been healthy. The only guy, you could question and say, well, he's not contributing, and that might be Juan Agudelo because he's had some holes in his season. But other than that, who goes off this roster so you can put Charlie Davies on it?
Yeah, I unfortunately haven't seen anybody say that. Where's Charlie Davies?
I have. It's right here on Yanks Abroad. Jonas. Yep.
Well, I haven't seen any of it. I wouldn't necessarily include Charlie back. I mean, he's put away a decent number of goals in MLS, but quite a few of them have come from PKs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's completely back to his stuff, or like you're saying, who's gonna leave the roster in his place.
Yeah.
And I think you made the best point is saying that the only player you can make an argument for would be Juan Agudelo, who hasn't really been performing well at New York, but then again, who really has been performing well at New York.
Yeah, that's been a rough situation. Here's a comment that I thought, this is the same guy, Jonas on Yanks Abroad. He says, instead of Bill Hamid and Nick Raimondo, he'd like to see Joe Cannon and Kevin Hartman. I mean, I think Joe Cannon and Kevin Hartman are great keepers, but by the time the next World Cup rolls out, those guys are you might be wheeling those guys out in wheelchairs. I mean, those are some old guys. Bill Hamid is a young goalkeeper. I don't really see a future for a Joe Cannon and a Kevin Hartman. And I always live going through these.
It seems more like a charitable call up. I mean, yes, they are talented goalkeepers, but they're not going to see playing time, and at that point, they're not really even options. Say if Tim Howard were to go out, they're not even my next option.
No.
As far as the goalkeeper is concerned. So.
And goalkeepers, unlike any other position, you always are looking towards the next World Cup. You're not looking at, because if that were the case, there's some goalkeepers playing in Europe that really should be behind Tim Howard. But what we're doing is we're kind of preparing for the future by having a guy like Bill Hamid on the roster, so he can travel with the team, get to get to see how things work. Here's the one pick that continues to surprise me, and that is we keep going with Tim Ream, and I'm just a little surprised that we don't hear more about where is Gonzo in this picture.
A lot of people are saying that.
He's been playing. He's like a one-man army back there for L.A. He really is. And he doesn't have, Barcelona, ex-Barcelona veteran playing right next door to him. I mean, he's doing all the work. He's the leader of that back four on that team. And if you watched him even play in the CONCACAF Champions League a couple days ago, I mean, he really almost single-handedly, in a lot of ways, just tore apart at really important times the opposition's offense. So, I don't know. I'd love to see Gonzo get a shot.
No, I think a lot of people want to see Gonzo get a shot. And actually, a lot of people are jumping off the Tim Ream bandwagon. Obviously, it's way too early to start saying he's not U.S. national quality. I mean, the kid's still young as far as center backs are concerned. However, as you pointed out, Gonzo is playing at a better level. He is the better option at this point. So. Mm-hmm.
And then he's
it
just
seems obvious to me. I think Clinton may just be holding off on Tim Ream's ability to pass out of the center back option. But then again, Gonzo's not a bad passer.
He's been getting a lot better. Yeah,
he is, and it's something we need to focus on. I mean,
you got to give this kid a shot.
Exactly.
Well, Eric Lehigh will be out the next few. I mean, another big story that comes out of this whole roster selection is a lot of injuries. Poor Holden. Out could be a long time, up to another 6 months.
6 weeks.
Was it 6 weeks? No.
6 weeks.
What I read in a couple places, suffered a setback with his knee injury and possibly out for the next 6 months. This is on two different reports.
Oh, okay.
Torres, of course, he had a recent injury. He'll be out for the rest of this year. He's done. Lehigh, he's out for the next three months. And then Fabian Johnson, who we would have all liked to, at least got the ball rolling and got his paperwork, together, and hopefully we would see him soon, but he'll be out as well with an injured neck. So, but then you got guys like Gooch coming back, and of course he kind of fell off the map because of an injury. So, but apparently I haven't really got a chance to see any of the games yet, but Gooch is doing well at Sporting Lisbon, and he even scored a goal. So,
he's getting some solid minutes there.
Yeah. So, I don't think any of this is really too surprising. As far as players I want to see get a nibble on the field, I really want to see Danny Williams from Hoffenheim. I want to see a peek there. That would probably be my big wish. I would like to see somebody other than Agudelo play with Altidore. I.e., I wouldn't mind seeing either Beasley or Bunbury. Actually, give those two guys a shot.
You're sticking with the point that Klinsmann might play with a two-striker option.
I'm hoping so, because even Beasley can play another striker option if you start. If he's kind of one of those strikers, if you play him that way, he'll kind of he sits on a wing, right, and then he cuts in. And from what I've seen so far from Beasley in Mexico, he has some of his old sharpness back. So let's give him a shot. I know everybody hates Beasley, but why not?
Yeah. I hope we go with the two-striker also. I suspect it's going to be a Josie and probably Donovan, given Klinsmann's interest is keeping Donovan more towards the center. But I would like to see, if we're going for a starting lineup, to go with a Josie and Dempsey top. Because what that'll do is that opens up the right wing for Donovan to go back to, while keeping Shea out left.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to see that. I don't know if we will.
I don't think we will.
But I would love to see Dempsey and Josie up top together. I unfortunately think we'll see something of a mix where we might even see Breck and Shea and Dempsey out there at the same time, switching back and forth on which wide position, like Donovan used to do. And then, as you said earlier, Donovan playing a reserve striker role. That's my guess. Now, as far as Honduras and Ecuador go, because we're running out of time, these are not pushover teams. Depending on who gets the call-up and who gets the start on these two teams, they have a lot of good international players playing overseas in leagues all over the world, and they're going to be competitive. These are not gimme games by any means.
Yeah, well, the Honduras roster is out, and it's kind of a mixed crowd. From what I understand, Honduras manager is still testing some players out, trying some new things. Looks to be quite a few players on the team are a bit older. So I don't know if we're going to utilize, say, Chandler's speed on the wings with Donovan and Shea also. Try to exploit them. Try to say, hey, get out there and use your speed. That's one of our strengths with a lot of our players.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we need to utilize it. I'm not sure about the Ecuador roster, if that's out yet or not, but it's going to be interesting to see. These aren't pushovers, like you're saying, but then again, we've brought a relatively A squad team, depending on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good. We could put forth a stellar team out there. It just really depends on how we go out to play. If we go out to play with a 4-4-2, or if we do a 4-1, or 4-1-4-1, 4-2-3-1, whatever. I guess the idea of Donovan or Dempsey or whoever is going to be playing in the center is more of an attacking mid / shadow striker.
I hope it's shadow striker. Yeah.
Will be that on the defense we're a 4-5-1, on the attack we're a 4-4-2.
Yeah. Despite
the fact that they claim that's a 4-3-3.
Right. And bringing up Chandler as you did, just to close things out. I like the idea that we talked about with Brian Stretta in the last interview, which was if you're going to play Chandler and you're going to play Cherundolo at the same time, leave Chandler on the right midfield spot and let the veteran Cherundolo hold his own on a left midfield spot, because he can do it.
Right back.
Right, I mean left back, yeah, on the left back spot, because he's perfectly capable of handling that, just like Carlos Bocanegra is perfectly capable as a right-footed left back when he's put out there. I think that gives Timothy Chandler on the right side a chance to use more of his moves, more of his speed, more of his dribbling speed and skill. Whereas as a left back, Timothy Chandler is just sort of he's just playing basically so conservatively, so he doesn't make any mistakes. Whereas
you squander his strengths when they're
absolutely. Yeah. So let's see if Klinsmann switches those two up and lets Cherundolo play the left back. I hope he does.
Hope so too.
All right, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, take care.